Two things are important for corruption to thrive. You see, like every other thing in life, there are what I call the breeding grounds, good breeding grounds, both for good behavior and for bad behaviors. One of the best breeding grounds are just like bacteria. They culture and grow well. But for corruption to happen, there are two conditions that are precedent. One is monopoly, or at least opacity of information, or what you call asymmetry of information. I know something you don't know, or you know something I don't know. Condition number one. Condition number two is where you have monopoly of discretion, which means that somebody can exercise discretion without being checked. And the meaning of that is that I can decide if I wake up on the right side of the bed to compensate somebody for something and not compensate somebody for the same thing. Again, it points back to what we were talking about, right? Unable to predict, because human beings are very difficult to predict by nature. So when you have those two conditions precedent, then of course, a good breeding ground for corruption. Because all I need to do, the two of us are not singing from the same hymn book. If a policeman stops you, for example, in Nigeria today, says, "Oga, where are your particulars?" What's the meaning of particulars? And that's why in academia, when we talk about knowledge, every construct must be well defined. So that everybody that reads, everybody that is going to take a look at whatever you are writing, understands there is no ambiguity. So a policeman stops you, says, "Where are your particulars?" So you present vehicle license and insurance. Then he says, "Where's your roadworthiness?" You say, "Well, hang on. Maybe you probably have that." Then he say, "Okay, where is your certificate of ownership?" And again, after that, he says, "Where's your tinted glass permit?" It means that there are several ways that somebody can tell you that your papers are not complete, simply because the concept, the construct called particulars is not defined. That creates room for corruption. Because there's asymmetry of information. I don't understand the meaning of what you're talking about. Then the second bit of it is that now the policeman has power at that point, and he has a gun on him to shoot you for not having the particulars, which is defined only in his own world. And he also has the power to let you go. But to let you go depends on his whims and caprices. So sometimes the only way he's going to feel happy with you is when something passes. That's exactly what happens. And that's why, take a look at processes. That's why in engineering, we don't talk about corruption in engineering. And that's why in engineering, we are always very conscious of the processes. So in engineering, we talk more about process control than anything. Because we say that if your processes are right, your results are guaranteed. So using engineering parlance, I say that corruption is not difficult to eradicate in very many. Of course, there are decisions that are in the exclusive preserve of humans, but you can reduce a lot of them. And how do you do that? Automate the process. Make information transparent to all. Make the service levels known to all. So if you say particulars, everybody understands what it means. And we know what is up to date. And the man that is stopping you has no discretion. If your particulars are there, then how do you do that? And I like to give an example. The same thing happens. So if you go to a car park, for example, today, or even a toll gate, and they say the fees might be 1,000 naira, you can grease the palms of the guy at the gate and give him 200 naira. That money goes to his pocket. He opens the gate for you and you go, because you can negotiate with him. Or if he's your friend, he allows all your cars to come in free of charge. But if you had an automated barrier, how do you negotiate with an automated barrier? Until your ticket is there with a fully paid amount, the barrier is never going to open. That takes away corruption. So that's why I have maintained all the time that if we want to discuss a corruption-free society, the only way to move anywhere near it is by ensuring proper automation and transparency. So if anybody in leadership is saying that they are fighting corruption, either by hounding people or by making senseless noise, they haven't started anything. Because we know that the solution to this is clear. Make the situation easy for everybody, information open to all, and reduce discretion. So if you take a look at other countries, take a look at a country like Georgia, for example. Very small country, but these are the things they've done. They have service level agreements for everything. Any government permit, for example, that you are going to apply for, they tell you how long it will take. The process is transparent because it's completely automated. If you do the same thing, of course, but once there is discretion involved, then of course it's a good ground for corruption.